Hello. South Australia has been a place of possibility, opportunity and extraordinary achievement in filmmaking for more than a century. The oldest surviving moving pictures shot in South Australia include a newsreel of troops departing for the Boer War in 1900 and Fighting the Flames in 1909, a Spencer picture production showing horse-drawn fire engines leaving the Metropolitan Fire Brigade station on Wakefield Street and proceeding up King William Street in Adelaide City Centre. Since then, hundreds of feature films and countless television and documentary productions have been made in South Australia, with the South Australian Film Corporation facilitating and supporting with initiatives, incentives and award-winning results that have earned the state a highly respected international reputation. Our special guest in this episode is Kate Croser, who's the Chief Executive Officer of the South Australian Film Corporation and an award-winning producer. I like that last bit.
Thank you, Malcolm.
Mind you, the job's big enough, but the last bit's international.
It is. Look, it is. And I'm really fortunate to have this fantastic role at the SA Film Corporation, who've been so instrumental in me being able to make my career prior to this as a producer. So it's a lovely full circle moment.
I don't know that everybody really understands what a producer's job actually is.
True.
So just please explain.
Well, the way I explain it is you're like the CEO of the business of the film or television production, whatever it is. So essentially what the producer will do is usually find the story, find all of the different talent that it needs to pull it together, like the director, the writer, the actors. The producer will put that team together and then they have to go raise the money. So they have to go out.
It's the big overview, isn't it? It's the big overview of the whole thing.
Yeah.
When did you feel that you had the ability to do the overview? Because really, it's a real skill in itself. Because you're the puppet master in many ways.
You are, and I did not go into it wanting to be the puppet master. Really, my sort of entree into it was I found a story that I fell in love with and I believed in, and I wanted to help the filmmaker to tell that story. So essentially, that's the way I went into it.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess that's what really pulls people in, isn't it? You've got to believe in something, and you've got to believe that somebody else wants to believe in it as much as you. Really.
Absolutely, and I've always sort of gone by the intuition that I've had about a story.
Yeah.
And I've grown up as an avid television and film watcher. So I've just had an instinct when I've read a story or met a filmmaker and thought, I believe this person has talent, I believe that other people want to hear about this story. And that's the way I got into it. But really it was sort of by accident. I mean, I started out, when I got into the film industry, I started out crewing. So
okay. Can we go back?
We can go back.
That, though? Did you do things when you were a child? Did you write scripts or pull people together?
I did. I grew up in a very big family.
Nearly everybody that does this actually did this. Oh no, not another show. Oh, you're not going to do it in the lounge room again.
We were always performing. So I had, I've got 3 sisters and a brother.
Right.
And my 3 sisters and I are very close in age. So my mum had 4 of us under the age of 5.
Oh.
4 girls under the age of 5.
Oh, fantastic.
But we were forever doing plays. When, the VHS camcorders came in, we were filming each other doing dance competitions, and I had no talent in front of the camera. But I suppose that was really a part of what drew me to it.
You've got to learn. No, but really you've got to learn both sides, otherwise you don't really understand how do you talk to somebody that's going to be in front of the camera.
It's true.
If you haven't done both.
I think that's probably very true.
Yeah. It is true, I said it.
There you go.
Must be.
Perfect.
Must be true. Malcolm said it. So tell us about the Emmy.
The Emmy, I mean, that was a really special moment for me. So I just had no inkling that we were going to be nominated. It was for a beautiful show that I produced along with a few other people who produced it with me, all South Australians. And the show's called First Day, and it's an ABC Kids show, and it's just got the most kind and generous heart to it as a story. It's a story of a trans girl and her first day at high school and her first day going to school as a girl.
Right.
So I felt like this is a story people need to see. People need to
Particularly
understand.
now.
Absolutely.
Really, particularly now.
That's exactly right. And, the lead actor in our show is Evie McDonald. She is the first trans actor in a leading role on Australian television.
Yes.
So I was incredibly proud. Even just having produced the show, I was incredibly proud to have been involved with it. And then one day I'm sitting on the couch, it's a Tuesday night, and I get a text message from someone saying, congratulations. And I said, what's all this about? Sorry, what? And they said, well, you've been nominated for an Emmy. And I messaged my fellow producers and said, does anyone know anything about this? And we were all completely taken aback. But
how wonderful.
Yeah, just to go on to win it. I mean, my only regret is that it was during COVID. So we couldn't travel to receive the award in person, but we had our own little celebration at the Mercury Cinema in Adelaide and gave a little toast to that moment. It was very special.
How wonderful, yeah. They are the things to remember, aren't they?
Yes.
Maybe to make a film about that.
Well,
Your
maybe.
career.
Well, no, I'm not sure. I'll leave that to other people.
Yeah, exactly. To another producer who might be watching this and thinking, there's a story there.
You never know. Yeah. You never know.
So after doing things like that, what drew you to the Film Corporation?
Well, that's a great question. And funnily enough, I was already the CEO of the SA Film Corporation when I won that Emmy. Because
yes, of course you were.
It was actually the last production I ever produced. Well, I shouldn't say ever.
No,
the last production I produced before I took the role at the SA Film Corporation. But essentially what drove me to take that role on is I just really saw that it's such an important institution. It's had such a large part in my career and, building the careers of all of my colleagues. And the role came up and I tried to find someone who I thought I could sort of, throw them into the mix, and I suddenly realised, I think I could do this job.
I could do that.
And I'm going to put my hand up for it. I've loved it.
I think, yes, you've sort of got to run fast, but that's the game, isn't it?
Yep, it is.
And you really know you're alive.
Yeah, exactly.
But you've got a good staff of people working with you.
Fantastic team.
Who also have that same passion.
They do. The team is so committed. If anything, we all find it hard to say no to things. So we've constantly got to support each other to not take on so much of what we want to do, because we're a very small team, but passionate.
So how did you get to the point of getting someone to actually look at you to say, yes, we're going to take you on? This is before this position.
Yeah.
How did you maneuver? Because you're in the studio with students, and they're people that are really interested to know this is what we want to do. How do we get there?
Yes, it's a really great question. I love sharing my experiences with young people coming through. Look, for me, it was all about building relationships, and I think this is an industry that is made on relationships.
Absolutely.
So for me, the key things that I did was I went to everything. I went to all the networking events. I went to all the screenings, industry events. This was even before I was in the industry.
It's not you again. Yeah. It's not you again.
And you've got to be prepared to just go up and talk to people.
Because we talked about you coming on the show last year for Flinders Uni here, because we were at the cinema and we were seeing the new work that they'd all put together for the year. And I thought, she's got this right. She's seeing who's up and coming, what's going on.
That's right. Yeah, you've really got to be out and about. And I think...
Still.
Absolutely.
That's the point, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And I think for people who've kind of come through uni during COVID as well, I think that's probably harder, because I know for me coming through, even though I didn't personally study film and TV, my partner did, now my husband. And
who's in this uni?
He works at University of South Australia. And we used to go together. So we'd all go as a big group, and, it was quite a social occasion. And a lot of these people still work in the film industry now. So
I suppose all these industries, particularly in any form of entertainment, there's a core of people that come together, and, by osmosis, people are joining you as people are perhaps going out at the other end because of age. And it's so important to have that flow as well, because new ideas coming in. It's no doubt you were in the beginning.
Well, exactly.
Tricky subject to pick up and find the people, who were interested in being part of that, I would imagine.
I think so. But look, there's no shortage of people who are interested in coming through that what we call
No.
pipeline of talent.
Yeah.
But there's a whole lot of people who are ready to step in and are looking to get jobs and careers in the screen industry. And the really exciting thing is there's now so much opportunity. I mean, we've got so much production happening in South Australia over the past few years, and it's only set to grow. So, yeah.
Well, it's big business, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's be honest, it's international business, because what we're shooting here or under your auspices of the company is going to be seen around the world.
Exactly, that's right. So, and I think the other thing certainly that attracted me, and I can see it in new people coming through, is to be part of something that's made by a team. So it's a true collaboration. You get to see, something made from start to finish. So you have a real sense of achievement. There's something tangible at the end of it. And it certainly beat my previous job before the film industry, which was working for the Australian Tax Office.
Did you organise the tax credit for filmmakers? That's the big question.
Well, I sort of do administer one now these days.
Exactly, yes. Kate, we're going to come back in a tick and talk a lot more about the corporation itself, what it's doing now, what it's planning to do in the future, and all of the wonderful facilities. There's a word I could say 3 times, facilities, they're offering there. So we'll be back in a tick. Our special guest is Kate Croser. Kate, let's talk about the Film Corporation, because we were just saying a moment ago, a lot of people sort of see it as an historical. Storm Boy was made, and that was the beginning of the film industry. It wasn't actually. It was the beginning of this particular branch of it. There's a lot of things made before that. But that really launched internationally, the corporation, didn't it?
Absolutely, it did. So we were established over 50 years ago now, in 1972.
Oh, I don't think I was born then.
And as you say, a lot of people still know the Film Corporation for those titles, those early titles, Sunday Too Far Away, Breaker Morant, Picnic at Hanging Rock.
Oh, and the old studios at Hendon as well.
That's right, yeah. So there was studios that were created at Hendon out of an old factory, and that was used to launch the SAFC's foray into supporting television drama. So shows like Sarah Dane and Playing Beatty Bow, they were produced out of Hendon. And of course now we're at Glenside with the Adelaide Studios, which is a fantastic facility that the SAFC operates.
But you don't so much need the big studios anymore like we used to, because everything had to be shot inside. Cameras were massive, lighting.
It's interesting because a lot of the time studios are still a preferred option. So one of the things though that enables and attracts so much production to South Australia is our beautiful landscapes. So we have such a diversity of landscapes and countryside.
Yes, you don't have to go far, do you?
That's exactly right. We always say, within an hour of the city, you can have 6 or 7 different looks. And that brings a lot of production here. But what we find is a lot of those productions will want to shoot some of their film or series in a studio as well. So we do still need the studios.
Because of the containment, like noise and aeroplanes going over.
Yes, that's exactly right.
I always say to people, you've only got to go to Kangaroo Island, you've got a Sahara Desert.
Yeah.
You've got to go south for a minute and you've got pine forests and forest land. The beaches are so close. The hills look like mountains if they're shot in the right angle.
You could do my job, Malcolm.
Oh. No, not this week. No, I'm busy this week, sorry. Maybe next week.
You sound a lot like me, though.
No, but it's true. But it's true. I mean, if we don't accolade what we've got, how will anybody know?
Yeah, and we really are, we have the best offering of anywhere in the country on that front. I always say to people, the only things we can't do is snow and tropical.
I'd find a way.
Yeah, there you go. Now with virtual production, which is the new technology that's coming in, where you can film against an LED backdrop.
Yes, amazing.
You can film those kind of landscapes in South Australia as well.
That's the snow. from the back of the screen.
Exactly.
No, but that's the magic of film, though, isn't it?
It
I mean,
is.
you can do anything anywhere at any time, more or less.
Exactly right, yes.
How difficult is it to attract the big companies, like the major companies, that used to all be controlled out of Hollywood originally?
Well, that's true.
Or do you see yourself as a Hollywood mogul?
Well, not yet.
An Adelaide mogul, perhaps?
You can get me back on the show when I am.
Okay, I'll hold you to that. I'll be in the wheelchair then.
No, look, I love living in South Australia, so I don't have
Me
any
too.
plans to leave.
Right. Sorry to all the people watching in Victoria, but we are very proud of where we live, as no doubt you are, because you have a wonderful film industry
Exactly.
too. But ours is better. Sorry.
Tonight it is while I'm here.
Tonight it is, yeah.
Look, attracting productions, we find it actually is about relationships again, like I was talking about earlier. Generally, people have a lot of questions before they film in South Australia. Am I going to be able to find all the crews and expertise that I need there? What are your facilities and equipment stores like? So they have all of the sort of logistical questions. But once they come and film here, they just keep coming back. So for example, we had Seesaw Films, who are an Academy Award winning company. They did The King's Speech, for example, huge films and series they do all around the world. They came here to shoot.
Was that an English company?
They're an Australian English company.
Right.
So they have offices in both.
Right.
And
I love those films.
Isn't that a great film?
Yeah, well, that's a great film, but that English attitude towards making films is closer to humankind, I think.
Well, I think it's informed a lot of our style of filmmaking in Australia,
Right.
and probably a lot of our culture actually. Obviously, having descended from British culture, a lot of us who have come through with that earlier colonial wave.
Even when you think back to the Storm Boy film that we say started it all, but that was showing a part of the world, young actors, David Gulpilil, that was showing a completely different look of countryside, actors, everything.
Yep, exactly right. So, and that's what I think we do well here in South Australia. So even a big international film like Mortal Kombat, when they came to South Australia, they just said, wow, we cannot believe the landscapes and the diversity of landscapes that you have here. And then once they were in the landscapes, they said we could never film this anywhere in the US. The friendliness of towns and communities.
Well, yes, I was going to
welcoming.
Say that. The friendliness of the people.
Yeah. So we always like to say we're the most film-friendly state in Australia, and it's because of the people of South Australia and the communities who make those productions feel so welcome, and that's what keeps them coming back here.
Well, we're not as built up as other cities in the country. I guess that's one of the advantages too.
Yeah.
Like we said, you can go anywhere and get almost any type of landscape from around the world.
I think so.
Where do you feel the corporation's going in the future? Because I know that you're looking at the other online things as well.
Absolutely. So look, I think one of the exciting things for us is, as well as attracting production from elsewhere, like interstate or overseas, we're really building up the talent within South Australia, so supporting South Australian production companies, South Australian writers, directors, that's a big focus for us. In terms of our future focus, we've started supporting video games, so developing video games, which again is another cultural output for Australia. And it also is a huge employer, so jobs and the kind of skills that people have when they're making video games are useful right across a range of industries.
But then if a production company's coming here, you've got all the production offices, the editing suites, everything is right there next to the studio. You don't have to do it in another place and bring everything in.
That's right.
But you are a bit sandwiched in amongst housing that's around the area.
Yes.
Has that created an issue?
Look, not so far. I think that we've got a good balance going on at the moment at Glenside. I think the people who live in the residential area really love that beautiful heritage building that we're located in.
Well, it is, yes.
And
do you use the back streets there for...
We do. Yes, we have in the past.
Oh, quick,
absolutely.
buy a house in the street. I could be in the movies.
We've used the back streets for even a film that I made as a producer down at the studios. But look, they are filling up now, so the residential is going up right around.
Yes, it is.
And I think for us, a really exciting story is that we're at capacity with Adelaide Studios. So we are booked out a lot of the time. Most of the year round, you cannot find space there.
Oh, really? That's brilliant.
So it's a great story, but it also means if we want to grow as an industry, we've got to look at, well, where do we expand?
Where's your next studio?
Yeah, that's right.
I suppose it's the same as in the UK. The UK studios are dotted right through London. You know, you go over there to that one, over there to that one, and everyone's used to doing that. That's in the industry.
There's a huge boom, and it's being driven by the streaming platforms. So everyone would have their subscriptions. Yeah, so all the international streamers. There's also Stan, an Australian streamer, and even the ABC, when they announced their new strategy the other day, it's all about digital and finding things online. So that's going to be a big part of what we are producing in the future, and through our partnership that we have with the ABC as well, where we're producing drama shows for the ABC here in South Australia, which is
comedy.
very
Kate,
exciting.
Where's the comedy? I want comedy.
Aftertaste. Have you seen this show?
Yes.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
Yes, it is actually.
ABC show.
Yep.
So that's on iView, and there's more comedy coming. So keep an eye out.
It's probably one of the hardest areas to make when you're talking about film, to make comedy. The Americans have been doing it for years, but it's not necessarily funny to our sense of humour.
Yeah, well, that's right. But you do see some shows. I mean, in the past, there hasn't been much of a crossover, I suppose, of shows working well here and then travelling.
Yes.
But you're seeing more and more of that. So a show like Colin from Accounts, which is a binge show, that has apparently taken the UK by storm and is now starting in the US.
Once they feel our sense of humour, once they get it.
Yeah, and that does wonders for our culture. So we're exporting that to the world.
We're a happy people with a good sense of humour. Sometimes I think you can get a bit bogged down in drama, because all our lives are drama. But I suppose I must ask you this question, because I guess the kids here and many other people watching this, because the actors that how do I get seen? And it's the crew, how do I connect with?
Yes.
And it's all the people who are coming up now that are going to be your future.
Great question.
You were saying before that you've got things in place, but how does this work for you?
It's a really great question. So as well as administering grants to attract and enable production to happen in the state, we also have a big focus on industry development. So that's finding new talent, supporting those people to get their first experiences on a set, in jobs. We have initiatives which are all about giving people those first credits, which is how they then go on and get more and more and more shows.
Very important.
So that's a big role that the SAFC plays, and particularly a particular focus for us is on ensuring we're giving those opportunities to people from underrepresented backgrounds as well, because the film industry and the screen industry in the past hasn't been equal in the way that it gives out those opportunities. So we're seeing, for example, women, First Nations people, disabled people.
Well, they're the basis of all stories as well.
Well, in life they are,
yes,
and they're very underrepresented, both on the screen in the stories, but also behind the cameras. So we're addressing that.
I never thought of that, to be honest. Just hold that thought and we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back. Kate Croser has been our special guest in this episode of Our Time. We've been talking about the South Australian Film Corporation. We've been talking about how do people get into the industry in the first place. And the point you made right at the beginning was it's so important to have
relationships,
connections. And so the best way to do that is to find out, because you have a website with a whole lot of information.
We do. So look, people can subscribe to our newsletter via our website, safilm.com.au. And the other thing I would say is for everyone else that's just interested in what films and TV shows and video games the SAFC has been supporting, you can find that on our website as well, on our SA Made Showcase. So go and check that out.
Is that a sneak preview of what's to come?
Absolutely, there's some very exciting projects coming up. So
fantastic.
So keep an eye out on your cinema listings and watch that SA Made Showcase website.
Hey, cinema, interesting to bring up cinema, because we've forgotten that cinemas exist and how fabulous it is to see a film in the place they're generally made for.
Absolutely. There's such a great feeling about being part of a community to watch a story, and I think film festivals are another great way to experience that. So Adelaide Film Festival is on in October. It's a great way to see films from South Australia, but also all over the world, films that aren't going to get a release in a cinema, so really special opportunity.
Fantastic. And we've got a lot of film festivals here, because we've been talking about the Paddy Film Festival that Yogi has arranged, and that's another wonderful thing of using local people involved in that as well. So
absolutely.
Anyway, it's been so good talking to you. Good luck yourself for the future.
Thank you, Malcolm, for having me.
I'm waiting to see you sitting behind the big desk with the hands like this, commanding the ship.
That'll never happen.
Oh, you never know. I'm sure it will. Good luck in the future. And thank you very much for joining us on this episode of OurTime. So until next time, go see the movies, particularly the ones made here in South Australia, and keep yourself nice till then. Bye.